Okay, guys. So my main focus for 2024, and actually, going into, I never would have thought that I would be saying this, right? Trying to trade. Look at this daily chart. And normally I would just say like completely avoid this. But over the past couple of months, I've really focused in on trading these and looking at seeing on Twitter and seeing people that trade these micro cap and looking like, what are they doing here? Like, what am I missing? And diving deep and studying, learning from others. And I also have trade ideas and another scanner that I use that are designed to find me these stocks. But trading them on the lower time frames, the 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and looking for signals and treating it just like, treating this 2 minute chart just as if it was like a daily chart, right? And thinking of it that way, because the ADR on this on a 1 minute, let's just get that up. ADR chart. Which one did I've had in the past? All right. So just looking at the ADR, right, as 11.38%. So just each 2 minute candle is moving that fast. And that's fast for a day. That's really fast for a daily chart. So there's so much opportunity here to make money. And of course, obviously you can also lose a lot too. So, but the idea is like, what I like about it is typically when you're trading something that has a float, let's say it has a float of $1 million and it's already has traded, I don't know, $10 million in a day or I'm sorry, 10 million shares or 30 million shares, whatever. I mean, it's already traded its float like 5 times over. Then these indicators tend to work a little bit better. It just tells you that like everybody's focused on that ticker, like every day trader, most day traders. There are a lot of different strategies out there. I should not use the word every. But if you look at it, you're in here and you can work on this. Go back in a Thinkorswim and work in a simulator, but just to get the practice of it. But that's you have to deal with the halts. But like this is just like such a nice setup here where it pulls back to the VWAP, and you get a buy signal, another buy signal, breakout, right? And then here's take profit. Take profit on your runner. You're scaling out on the way up. So, but that's going to be my focus for coming into 2024. I don't know. I'll still do the swing trading. I have scans for that. Where I'm holding stuff for like a 3 to 5 day move, and maybe, but these types of things, that with them, unless there's like really game changing news, like something like a DRCT. Where they have like just like a huge earnings beat. Let's get rid of this indicator. Actually, I'm going to add that back, but just keep it hidden. Let's see. ADR. I've made different variations of this. I don't really want this. I just want to be able to see I like in Thinkorswim I have it set up where it just shows you up here in a box what the ADR is whenever you switch the time frame. So I think that's a really important thing to keep an eye on, how volatile the stock is. So anyway, here you get like the game changing news of the earnings are up 283%. Revenue is up 129%. The news here was very positive. Like it actually is making money. It's like a real company. Where a lot of these here, they're trying to pump. They're pump stocks. The chat rooms are pumping them. They're trying to steal money from you. But my strategy, I also have a setup in Thinkorswim that I use, is looking at having levels, having like basically taking all of my knowledge, all my years of knowledge, and putting it into a time frame of 9:30 to 11. Trading these stocks that are so fast moving, and like if you catch something, you catch something here at $3, it goes up. I mean, that's more than a double. Obviously, like not every stock's going to move like that, but for me, I'm coming in here. I'm looking at the monthly. I'm looking at marking out levels. Like where could it go to? Marking out bodies and wicks, and and using those as targets and take profit. And I just think like my win rate, my success is much better when I'm focused on these massive stock in play moves. And now you can have like a mid cap or big tech cap stock in play. Those things can move too. But that's, as a day trader, you unless you're going to be using some type of scalping strategy, and I've done that. See, I did NVIDIA, like something like coin. Here you could have caught that move, right? That was a nice little clean move, Mara. But I tried what I tried a lot in 2023 was range bound trading. Where something's like, it's trading between level. You mark out a bunch of levels on like generally a higher time frame. Like let's say like maybe you go to the 15-minute, but you're looking for a stock that's range bound. This one was not. But you can make a lot of money if you're range bounding, if you're catching like every little move within a half-hour period. For me, that tends to not work so well. I think it's very difficult. I probably need years more of practice doing that, just because it's so hard to change so quickly. Like, I don't know, maybe it can become more of a video game. But yeah, like something like this, right? When Mara was trading here, in that tighter range for that, you just get what ends up happening for me is I'm so used to, like, I might catch this up, then down, then up, then down. And I might catch a lot of these moves and I might be profitable. But then this happens and I'm like, no, wait, I'm like shorting that here. I'm like, this should be going down. And it's not. And I'm like, well, let me just add to it. Oh no, it can't go up this much higher. Like that's what I want to avoid. So range bound trading, stair step, like versus like trend trading, momentum trading, two different things. And there are people that can do them both. However, my focus for 2024 is really on, okay, instead of like trying to trade this in here, forget about it. Now look at where are the levels? Where can this break out? I want to be ready, on this day here when it breaks out of this long consolidation, and I want to have a plan. How am I going to hold it? When am I going to scale out? Am I going to hold it through the first light blue bar? Am I going to hold, just have all that thinking. I mean, generally it's, looking for that 1 to 5 day move, taking some profit and then leaving a runner on and trailing the rest with the 10-day, something like that. Or, or if you get like a take profit signal, like you did over here, that closed below the 10-day, but here's also a potential signal where it's pink, right? So that is, you made new high, and then here you're making your first new low. It's a special kind of code that I have in there, but that's really the focus. Like if is for 2024 is going to be on swing. I can swing trade like high ADR stocks like this, like Mara, Coin, MSTR, or some other ones, AOI. Right. Avoid trying to catch every little move. And avoid the range bound trading. Right. So the strategy really is, okay, I'm looking for buy signals. Right. Okay. So maybe I didn't take this because you had, or it depends on the news that day, but here you get a nice consolidation. Okay. Now I'm buying that bar and now I'm just looking for a take profit or sell signal. Scaling out. Okay, now we get the pink bar. Now I'm definitely out of any runner here on this pink bar candle. If you look at it, maybe you could even say, okay, as long as I'm going to hold this until it makes a new 1 bar low. Now, whatever time, if that's a daily time frame, a 1 minute, 10 minute, whatever time frame it's on, like you have to establish what you're going to be doing ahead of time, and it helps to stick to the same system over and over again. So that's for me, like, now it's kind of forming this little box here. Let's see, it could find some support. But yeah, like this type of move, this would be a bread and butter type of setup where it makes a strong move. And now you're just waiting for it to pull back. Here it pulls back to the 200-week moving average. And then you get a nice buy signal. right? And there's really hasn't been a sell signal, but other than here, you have your first new low, 1 week low. So that maybe you want to be all out by then, right? There's your pink dot. So if you caught that, even if you were swing trading this and you didn't have, you're only looking at stuff after hours, you got it a break of this high, right? So you had 120, 30% move, and your risk here, well, maybe you didn't put your stop there. This was actually capped up on, was that when it capped up? No, that was here on the earnings. Maybe you got stopped out if you bought here and then it came back here. Yeah, you probably got stopped out. So then you could try again. So, everything always looks easy in hindsight. When you get emotional, you're going to lose money. So trying to do too many things, trying to do things to rushing, getting too fast. I mean, the market will give you hints and clues, right? Yeah, look how choppy this was in here on a weekly. But on the daily, you can see like, okay, we had this move down. Now we're getting choppy. Here you get a buy signal, right? So, the thing is like something like AAOI, it helps to look at a weekly chart, but the ADR on that is 27%. So something like that, you really do have to focus more on a daily to help manage your risk. Like maybe you look at the weekly chart, right, and you're just seeing like, okay, it's pulling back, and I want to get it if it crosses above this high here. So as soon as it crosses above, I'm in. But you look for it like it's very clean on a daily and a weekly chart, which means that's, obviously it was one of the leading stocks of the year. This thing went up over a 10 bagger in 1 year. But my point is like you might look at a weekly, go through your weekly charts, and then, okay, well, where can I get on a daily chart, right? Oh, well, there's a buy signal right here. So even though I said I drew this line on the weekly, maybe I'm getting in here, right? So then that just means that your risk is tighter, right? So it's using a combination of multiple time frames, and then looking for signals, right? So right here, you're looking at a daily, that's a buy signal. And from that, you get a move of 145%. Then you see a take profit signal here, the pink. But again, I would be scaling out on the way up, and then I'd be out of my runner here if I still had a runner. Not even waiting for it to close below the 10. You could still wait for the 10. I mean, if maybe you're still leaving a little piece on. But for me, I like to catch like this, clip that move, that orange move there, here, the green, clip that move. Basically, you're just catching the legs, right? You're trying to get in. The tighter you can get in, the lower you can get in, the tighter your risk is. But you can also say, all right, well, then I want to wait for a new high here. And if it just breaks back below that low, then I'll be out. So that could be an opportunity as well. Let's look at, right, or I want to wait until it breaks above this anchor VWAP. So there's confirmation, like, okay, I want confirmation, I want a new high, right? But then you might get shaken out. Or say, oh, well, I want to get in like as early as I can, but then the move could fail, right? Like here. So there are pros and cons to everything. But those are just different tactics, right? Different tactics between, am I entering here? Am I entering above a break above VWAP? Am I entering at the high? But the strategy is, it's a stock that's got a huge catalyst. They had the partnership with Microsoft, or whatever they're doing for Microsoft. Knowing the news, understanding like obviously it's a clear uptrend, right? So I want to get into this, right? So that's just, and then how you're going to play it, how you're going to enter, like, are you going to enter at the new high? Those sorts of things are probably more tactics than overall strategy. So kind of been a little bit all over the place in this video. I think my point, getting back to my original point of this video, was my main goal is because I do have the time so far. I mean, I also run a business, and depending on how that goes, I'm not going to be available to trade every day, right? But if I am trading, I'm not going to be looking at options. I'm not going to do any options trading. That stuff is poison. I would not do that ever, and I would not recommend considering it. Just get it out of your head, pretend they don't exist. And that's coming from someone who's lost tens of thousands of dollars trading options. For me, forget about trying to day trade like range bound, something like an NVIDIA or Tesla. But this is my main focus, right? And it can be difficult to go through when you're trading something like this. All your attention has to be on it, to then also look for swing trades. So swing trades would really be something where I'm looking at a scan like this Ant Spoolish, right? Let me update this. Coming into here, and I'm looking at on a daily time frame. Now that already broke out, but this should be stuff that's tight and setting up for a potential move. So like, what the benefit of that is, you can look at the last half hour of the trading day and say, okay, well, I'm trying to look for a better example in here. Something that's, a nice setup, getting tight. And let's say, okay, I'm going to enter this here with the idea that it should be up tomorrow. Or I'm going to put a buy stop order in here, right? So this should just trigger. I'll attach a stop loss and a take profit. This should trigger, and I don't have to watch it. That is swing trading. Also, I use a stock fetcher, and that sends me a list via email every day and I have various scans in there, and one of them is Darvis boxes, and it's kind of a similar scan in here. So I can quickly look at that and say, like, okay, like this here on this day, when it was in here, you knew like for how many days it was in this box, right? Now that ended up not working out so well. Probably stopped the out, didn't trade that well. But the point is you could put the buy order, like nail is one that I got right here. You had the signal here because this was still a continuation move. That was day 10. You could put a buy stop if it takes out that high. I'm going to put a buy stop right there, and then I'll put my stop loss here. Right, but you could. I got in. I probably did get in. I got in that day. I wasn't doing the micro cap stuff then. I was, but I think the whole market was pretty hot that day because I got in there and I took Soxol. I think in here. I think I took it there. Forget. But I had like a nice 30% gain on this one. Some of my bigger swing trade gains. Greed was another one that I had. But that was also that, the other thing too is like you have the scanners running, and with trade ideas, it's calling out names, and it was Greed, Mara, Coin, Riot, all day long. It was like the whole group was moving, right? So I took it and had a nice, I think I tried leaving a runner on, but I had between a 30 to 50% gain on this one. And that was a pretty, from a fundamental standpoint, monthly chart standpoint, a pretty ugly chart. But on the daily, it looked fine. So this setup here, what I like about it too is it's going to show me everything that's on a small cap, micro cap that's moving that day, that's up big. But then anything that gets into this list here, that is what I'm going to be looking at, right? So if it's down here, I'll come in and I'm going through, okay, here's what's on the scan, what's the news, what's catalyst, right? But then in the trading day, I'm going to be looking at here. So if SNTG is down here, I might have my levels marked out. I might be looking at it. Let's say like it's below VWAP. Like in here, it would have been in this list. But then when you had this pop here, it would have popped up here. All right, so now I'm looking at, okay, well, you had this move, right? So maybe if it trades above this high here, I'm going to take it. and then it does, and then you catch this really nice move, right? So if you took it from the high there, I mean, it not to say no one catches the top tick, but that made a move of 250%. Right, so stuff that's for me that like I think it's a simple scan. It's 2 scans. I mean, I have other ones in here too, so I can go through like just look at, what's an EP on that day. I have this other kind of bull combo scan in here. What else is setting up? Right, there, this MTA. I don't know, but my main focus is going to be right here, and then I'll have this set up. I have done trading in TC2000 and Thinkorswim. I'm thinking more and more about going back to just I'll still have this up and running, but then using my Thinkorswim layout or for trading, and using probably the ladder, because you can do the same thing with putting your buy orders on the chart. But just with the commissions, I mean, this can really add up, TC2000. So that's it. I mean, that's coming in. I hope that when I look back on this in a year, that, I'll be able to say like, okay, I made the most of this layout here, this scan, and the other tools that go with it. I was able to control risk, smart about share size, not oversizing, not getting emotional, taking losses. And one thing I do like about these too is they're so ugly that it's good, right? Like, this is such an ugly chart. Well, how can that be good? Because you're not going to average down. Like, when this move is over, it is over, right? I mean, there's no earnings, there's no sales. On that, yeah, maybe you can hold, like, let's say you're trading 1,000, 10,000 shares. Maybe you hold like 10, 20 shares overnight if you think there's more potential there. But in no way, shape, or form you're like, oh, well, this is Nvidia, like, right? Like, Nvidia is going to come, like, it's going to come back, like, and just get destroyed. There's no justification for really holding these other than for getting in for that, catching that leg, right? Look at this nice volatility here. So I don't know. I don't know if this video makes any sense to anyone other than me, but this is something like, this is more of a journal entry type video. Looking ahead to 2024, I think there are a lot of positive things that are going to be happening. The other thing obviously is knowing, like, okay, when are the microcap stocks going to be in play? Like, obviously you want a strong uptrending market. IWM has made a nice move here, but could this be that the end? Is it coming back down, or is it just some profit taking and we go higher? I don't know those things. But when it's doing this, maybe this layout's not going to work as well. In which case, those are the times for me when maybe I could play some stuff to the short side. I do have a bear scan and layout in here. Having other things in my playbook, which I do have, but also, like, I have other responsibilities. I have a family, I have a business. Like, those are the times when I can focus on those things, or just really stay away from the market. So if you made it this far in the video, drop me a comment. Love to hear from you. Love your feedback. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.